Hiya. I had hoped to have made some videos by now, but unfortunately, for a number of reasons, that just hasn't happened. However, with my road trip coming up in 4 weeks, I am determined to make some videos then. I thought I'd do a quick preview now. And this is as much for my sake as anything else. I'm trying to be sure that I've thought of everything because my memory is just so bad these days. But also, if any of you know any of the areas that I'm visiting and you think of something that I just shouldn't miss, please do let me know. So this is it really. I'm setting off on the 16th of May and travelling south to stay with one of my daughters. I'm having to leave the wee dog there. I had hoped to leave him at home with a sort of house come dog sitter type person, but he hasn't been too well and I don't think I can leave him with a stranger. I'm staying there for a couple of nights and then heading across the channel in the early morning and driving straight to Reims. There's an old motor racing circuit there that I want to visit. And as Reims is the capital of the Champagne region, I'm going to visit one of the champagne houses there as well. And the following day, I'm heading through Paris. One of the inspirations for this trip is to drive through Paris in a sports car with the warm wind in my hair, a la Marianne Faithfull. I've driven in Paris many a time, but never an open-top sports car. And that's the reason that I bought the Porsche, really, was to do this road trip. I was planning to drive straight to the south that day to my friends. And if I wasn't determined to drive through Paris, I could probably do it. But Paris is going to make it a very long day. So I'm going to stop for the night in Vierzon. Then the following day, I'll drive from Vierzon to my friends. I'll probably take in a visit en route. There are lots of places that my wife and I used to take friends and family when they visited, and I'll maybe visit one of those for old times' sake. So maybe Rocamadour or somewhere like that. I'm staying with friends in the south for 3 days, and on the middle day, one of them's arranging a lunch and inviting lots of other friends, which is great because I'll be able to see lots of people in one go. And then from there, I'm driving into the Alps to the Route de Napoleon. That's the route that he took to attack Austrian troops, I think, as depicted in one of the most famous paintings of Napoleon, with the cape flying and all that. I'm spending the night in Sisteron, and the next morning I'm heading to Nice airport to collect my daughter, who's going to spend a few days with me. Unfortunately, and this was my suggestion, I have to admit, she's spending a couple of nights, I should say, in Monte Carlo with me, the most expensive part of the trip. 2 nights in Monte Carlo are accounting for about 30% of the entire budget. I'll explain more later, but let's just say, for example, it's costing me more per night to park my car in the hotel car park than I'm paying to stay in most of the other hotels. But I thought it'd be good for us in Monte Carlo to relax and chill at the cafes and chat, rather than just be in the car all the time driving. As it's her birthday present, she said she wanted to spend a few days with me, so I said I'd pay for her flights and accommodation. So that's her birthday. From there, we're heading into the Alps and staying at Briançon, and then on to Switzerland, to Geneva, and she'll fly home from there. Back on my own again, I'm going from Geneva to Lucerne, and then on to Italy to the Stelvio Pass. I had thought I wouldn't bother with the Stelvio Pass, having watched some of the videos on YouTube. It looks like a bit of a traffic jam, thanks to all the motoring journalists singing its praises. One of the best driving roads in the world. But my daughter persuaded me. She knew it had been on a bucket list for many, many years with me. But I'm staying in a hotel right on the pass in the hope that maybe in the evening or early morning it won't be too busy and I can get a decent drive. But you never know, maybe everyone will think that, who knows. From Stelvio, I'm heading up to Germany, to Stuttgart. I'm going to visit the Porsche and the Mercedes-Benz museums. But I'm only spending one night there. Before I go into Cologne, I'm going to spend a couple of nights in Cologne and hopefully take in a bit of culture. Then from there, I'm into Belgium and heading to the circuit Spa. I arrive one evening, I've got a track session booked the following day, and then the day after that, it's back to my daughter's to collect the dog, and then home. There's been a lot to think about, but I'll tell you about some of that in a minute. To go back to Monaco, the hotels are extortionate. I mean, I have booked a nice hotel. It's near Casino Square and it has sea views and all that. But even so, you know, ouch. As it said, you know, I'm paying more to park the car than I'm paying to stay in most hotels. The daughter who's joining me is a bit of a gourmet, so I've booked some nice restaurants too. And a meal for one at those is, you know, it's more than a week's grocery shopping for me. But hopefully it'll be worth it and we'll have a lovely time. I was checking my breakdown cover, which when I had the Alpha was included with my car insurance. With my new insurer, it's not, so I've had to get some. But while I was checking, I discovered that my car insurance covers me fully for the EC, but not Monaco. I phoned them up, but they point blank refused to cover me. That's just for 3 days in Monaco. So I looked into this and I found a thread on Piston Heads about it. And it seems that lots of people drive through Monaco not knowing that their insurance doesn't cover them. A lot of the people on the thread only found this out when they checked after seeing the thread. And there were lots of people asking why, of course. And someone suggested, have you seen the cars there? You know, if you damage a Bugatti Chiron or Veyron or whatever, you know, it could be hundreds of thousands of pounds to repair it. And I think that probably does explain it, to be honest. So I had to find someone to insure me for 3 days in Monaco. Now, Monaco is less than 1 square mile. I'll be driving into the hotel car park when I arrive and out of the hotel car park into Italy when I leave. So less than 2 miles probably. And it's costing me £140. But there we go. You know, that's life. You know, I've got no option. You know, I have to be insured. Other than that, I've got a telepage bip and go so that I don't have the issue of a right-hand drive at pay booths. You know, you can just drive through. I've had to get ULEZ compliance certificates for cities where they're required. And I've got a vignette for Swiss toll roads. And I think that's everything. As I said, I'm planning to make some videos while I'm away, and I will post them. And I intend to make one long one when I get home. You know, this is my bucket list trip after all, but I'll only force the family to endure that one. So yeah, as I said at the outlet, if you know of somewhere that I shouldn't miss, you know, please do let me know. Well, I mean, this has been longer than I intended, but if you've watched all the way through, thank you very much for watching, and well done. But I think that's it, and I'll say bye-bye for now. Bye.